2, 3, 4. What time is it?
Join Raquel and Anja to dish up the best breakfast that you will ever be served on Infinity FM, Mondays to Fridays between 7 and 10. Infinity FM, online community radio station based in the community for the community.
Now, stop your feet.
Nou ja, julle is natuurlijk geskakel op Infinity FM en julle kuier saam met die breakfast team en myself Raquel en natuurlijk my co-host Anja. Ja, ons is 'n radiostasie van die gemeenskap in die gemeenskap en julle kan ons natuurlijk kry op ons link www.infinityradio.co.za. Ons het ook 'n Facebook page Infinity FM, jy like, jy sê en jy volg natuurlijk. Ja, vanoggend we have our special guest in studio, Ntomie, and yes, he's also the chairperson here on Timbers. So yes, Ntomie will tell you guys, for all the people that is tuned in now, she will tell you guys what she's doing, who Ntomie is, and she will also tell you about the award she did win. So Ntomie, the floor is yours.
Good morning and thank you so much for having me here, Raquel. My name, like it's been said, is Ntomie Zitha. I'm an optometrist. I've been an optometrist for the past 19 years. So most of my life I've been doing the same thing and I've been loving every bit of it because my aim is to prevent blindness and to care for your eyes. I was born in Witbank in Mpumalanga 40 plus years ago.
Wow. Wow.
And I went to university at the University of Limpopo, and then when I qualified, I went back home to Witbank to start my work and worked there for a few years. And I realized, you know what, I can't grow up in a place and live there the rest of my life. So I've been all over in most places in the country. I worked in Pretoria as well,
Sure.
just before I came to the Western Cape 2 years ago. And I've loved every bit of my work as an optometrist, and I have 2 daughters who are 10 and 15
Sure.
years old.
Wow.
And yes, I'm here now in Grabo, and the aim here is to take care of your eyes, is to help you to love your eyes, which is the topic that we're talking about this year according to the World Health Organization, as October is Eye Awareness Month.
Okay.
So the topic this year is love your eyes. And how do you love your eyes? It's basically by taking care of your eyes. It's basically by making sure that you keep those eyes, they're no spares unfortunately,
Yes.
for the rest of your life, and you make sure that you can see well and you can enjoy the beautiful valley that you're staying at, which is Grabo and the Elgin Valley, which is beautiful. So the whole idea is to make sure that you see well and you keep the health of your eye as good as possible. So I realized ever since I got to Grabo that most people here are on chronic medication.
Oh yes, that's true.
High blood pressure,
Yes.
diabetes, cholesterol. That is not such nice things to say, but it is the reality.
It's the reality,
And
yes.
the reality is that all these 3 diseases that I mentioned, amongst all the others, are actually labeled as leading causes of blindness in the
Definitely.
world.
That's true.
We most of the time we talk about diabetes as one of the causes of blindness. You'll be shocked to hear that even high blood pressure can lead to blindness.
Wow.
And cholesterol as well, because with cholesterol, as I look into your eyes and I see a tiny bit of fat sitting on the blood vessels at the back of your eyes, that can cause you to be blind.
Sure.
So you really, when we say to you, when you're on chronic medication, make sure that you get your eyes checked annually. Don't wait for 2 years. You can change your spectacles every 2 years, but the health of your eyes is very important. And we talk about cataract all the time. I know most people come in and say, they show me outside their eyes and they say, I've got a cataract, can you see it? And I'm like, but cataract is inside the eyes.
Wow.
I can see it with the machinery. I don't just look into your eyes and say you've got a cataract. So it's important to know and the status of the cataract, and if you would read when it should be time for you to go and operate it and get it sorted. And unfortunately, due to COVID, not a lot of cataract surgeries were done in the past year. So we've got a long waiting list. Even at this point, the specialists look at how blind you are before they can even say we will operate on you. And I have to send that report to say, this one, well, I know she can't do it. She's not functional anymore. She has to be served food, and she can't walk properly. She's bumping into things. For them to say, let's at least do the first operation, the first eye. And worst part is that the diseases that I mentioned, that that diabetes and high blood pressure, they can also cause cataracts.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's so important to look after your diet. It's so important to look after your body, to exercise, to eat well, to to make sure that you take your medication as the doctors tell you to visit your doctor. And I know when you're on chronic medication, you have to see the specialist every 6 months. I mean the doctors every 6 months. It's important that you keep to those appointments, because we are trying to make sure that you keep your vision for the rest of your life and as good and as best as possible. And the biggest thing now that we're having, the cell phones, the laptops,
Yes.
the technology. I always say I love it when parents just give their laptops to their children instead of babysitting and playing with them, because it gives me money.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's money for me, but it's not for you. And because you give them the gadget, they sit close to the gadget. When you're working on a laptop, even as an adult, you don't blink as much as you should be.
True.
And 20 odd years ago when I started working, there was no disease called dry eye disease. But over the years, we've got now worldwide a disease called a dry eye disease.
Wow.
And you look at such things and you're thinking, so much change doesn't always come with the good, but there's always a fall on the good that comes with it. But we always have to make sure that we don't fall into the trap of the fall, and make sure that we look after ourselves and we look at the things that we need to do to make sure that we keep our vision, we keep our eyes as healthy as possible. So I want to go back and talk about the technology. When you give your child a cell phone as early as a 2-year-old, because you want to keep them busy, as early as 5 years old, no matter what the age, remember they're holding it close to their face, and the eye is still developing until you're around 16 and 18 years old. So if you're keeping that eye that's supposed to develop and to grow and to, when I started studying optometry, I was told you learn to see. And it only started making sense later while I was studying that how you learn to see is because the eye continues to develop.
Sure.
You're not born and able to see at 5 meters away from you. You're born and you see just a few centimeters from you, and as you look about in the room, you start learning to see there and there and there, and that's how the eye learns to see. So you can imagine if you take a 2-year-old and then you just give them a cell phone to play, they're not looking at distance. And what ends up happening? The child ends up not wanting to go play outside because it's easier to sit and play on the cell phone.
Wow.
And the sun is also needed for the eye to develop.
Sure. I learned a lot today.
You also need to be out. The child will be out and about to play, to learn to see that far. So you can imagine when you bring your child in and I tell you the child needs spectacles, not because in most instances, not because they're going to wear spectacles for the rest of their lives. But in some instances, you find that we give them spectacles for a short period so that we help the eye to go back to continue to develop.
Yes.
And then when I say to you, come back in 6 months, let's see. Most of the time, there are changes already in 6 months. And you'll see the child starting to put the spectacles away because they are realizing that there's changes in their eyes. This spectacle is not working for me. Come back, let's change the lens. Let's make sure that we keep encouraging the eye until we realize that no, we need to stop. And when you look back, you look at most of the kids who used to wear spectacles when they were younger, they stopped at some point.
Yes.
Because of the same process, because the eye is continuing to develop.
Wow.
So it's human. I mean, it's not just the eye not continue to develop, but it's also dry eyes. Most of the kids that come in, they present with dry eyes. It's not just adults who get dry eyes. It's
Kids
also
also.
the kids. You know, and then you'll tell me that your child's eyes are watery, your child's eyes are this, and it's important that we make sure that these kids are not too exposed to technology. They need to be exposed. They need to know, because our future is it's technology, but we need limit the amount of time that they use the technology. They still need to play. They still need to develop other skills. I mean, there's something that's called eye-hand coordination, throwing a ball, catching a ball, kicking the ball. You know, those coordinations are also important in the child's development.
Yes.
And we forget that, and we think, cell phone,
Laptop.
watch
Just-
movies, my
Yes.
child,
Sit there.
sit there, play games.
Be quiet.
Yeah,
But it's not a good thing.
it's a bad
It's a bad thing.
It's a horrible thing, because you're not loving your child. You're
Yes.
actually moving them out of your space to
Yes.
make sure that you do other things, which is not
Miss
so great.
Ntomie, tell us about the award quickly.
Whew, that's the most exciting news. I was nominated a few months ago by the Optometric Association. I sit on the Public Health Committee for the South African Optometric Association. So they nominated me, not because they like me, but because of the community work that I've always done in the past and which I continue to do.
Yes.
I was part of an NGO a few years ago where we would go to schools, raise funds, get sponsors, and make spectacles for kids in underprivileged areas. And by doing so, we would make sure that, like what I spoke about making sure that the kids' development of the eye continues, that the kids who would tell you that when they're sitting at the back they can't see at the board, others even can't see from the front.
Yes.
So we would make sure that those kids are taken care of. Those kids who have issues with the eyes which are painful, they've got other things that are happening in the eyes, we make sure that we send to the specialists. That we find kids who have cataracts at a young age, we even send those for operations. So I did quite a lot of that in my public health, and I make sure that every year, Mandela Day, Mandela Month, I give spectacles to underprivileged. I did that
Wow.
last year when I was here.
Well done.
Already when I was in Gabo,
Yes.
we got a few kids in the center. I tested their eyes, and then they got spectacles. And this year I wasn't here on World Sight Day because I was looking after some children in Stellenbosch, and we made spectacles for them. Those are the farm schools.
That's great.
And there's always something that
There's
I
always
find a reason or purpose to give to the community, and that's how I manage. That's how I got the community health award,
Yes.
because of prevention of blindness.
That's good because some of the parents can afford the spectacles, eh?
That's the thing.
So well done, Ntomie. Well done.
And look out for more, Bravo. I will still be doing that. I will not stop here. I will still continue to make sure that children eyes are taken care of. I will try and raise funds. I will try and knock on doors
Yes.
to make sure that these kids are not frustrated, because one of the causes of dropouts is because some kids cannot see, and
Yes.
we label them as being stupid.
Wow, we talked yesterday about the dropout kids in Ntomie, and there's one important thing you say is they drop out now, we think they're stupid, but it's not
It's
because
not
of
because
that.
they're stupid, because they're struggling to see.
Oh, yes.
And then they sit and copy from the friend, and the friend doesn't want to show because they're copying.
Yes.
And then you end up labeling them in a bad way, and what happens then, they lose interest in the school.
Wow.
And they're out.
Ntomie, the time is now 9:51. You must come back, really, you must come back. I will tell my boss, he's probably watching the show now, but I will tell him because, wow, I learned a lot in this short time you were live now on Infinity FM. And really, but can I give you a number?
Yes, sure.
Can I give you a number live for people or person that want to come check your about.
Can we give the office number? Do you have the office
I don't have the office number.
It's
Can
zero
you can give the office number?
It's 061 488 2705.
So there you have the office numbers, guys. I also must go pop in by you because ask Anja. I'm sitting in front of her. I can't see. I know I'm busy in Ntomie, but I must because it's important.
It is
I
important,
must
yes.
check out my eyes, otherwise I will go blind. You say if you don't look after your eyes, and I don't want to go blind.
You don't like the
Oh, I
consequences.
don't want to go blind.
I'm not saying you go blind, but you need to make sure that the health of your eye. I
Yes.
mean, we do physical medicals annually, but what about the eyes?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You know, it also should be counted as as part of the physical examination of the whole body.
Ntomie, from the breakfast team, thank you for coming in. It was so quick, eh? Next time you must come in 8:45. It's my fault, I'll give you the 10 half past. But next time 8:45 because we learn a lot.
Oh, yes.
You talk about stuff
We didn't even
we
know.
didn't even know. Like the laptop, the phone. I'm one of them, just take the phone, sit there. And we damage our children's eyes, our own phone. So I hope you will be back in the studio, not
Most
next year,
definitely.
not next year or next month, soon.
Most
I want you back in
definitely.
the studio and you can come and talk again for the viewers that is tuned in here. And thank you very much, Ntomie, for the time you take to come in. And I must tell you, you look so beautiful. Yes, you look beautiful every day, but today is extra beautiful. You have a glow in you. You look, everything is just looking perfect on you.
Maybe it's the award, hey? I'm just super excited.
Super excited. Anja, you can just say something to Ntomie.
No, I just want to say thank you. Me myself must come and check my eyes because I know I have a problem, but somehow some people told me that they can't do my eyes because they measure it, but it changes every time they do it. It changes. So I must come and look at my eyes because I know there's a problem. But thank you for the information you
That
have
you
gave
gave us,
us
yes.
because we didn't even know some things you said, and yeah, it's amazing how
The
your
dry eye
eyes.
story. I didn't know about the dry eye.
It's amazing how your eyes have so many things you must learn about, and yeah, it's really amazing. But I just want to thank you really for the information you gave us.
And I think the viewers also appreciate the information that you give to the viewers. So thank you
Thank you.
for being here on the show. We appreciate you. Ntomie, yes, she is in Ntomie. She is here at Timbers Kleinbergen, guys. You can come here, come check her out. And yes, it's also the chair here. I have to say that again. It's also the chair here on Timbers Kleinbergen. Thank you for popping in or for doing this today on Infinity FM with the breakfast show. You know what, Ntomie? I like to talk a lot, but time, time don't allow
It's
me.
against us, right?
It's against us. Time don't allow me. But thank you. But I know you will be back soon, yeah, on Infinity FM with the breakfast team. With the
Most
breakfast team. Thank you, Ntomie.
Time is it?
Join Raquel and Anja to dish up the best